Big news today for the Gators as they pick up a huge transfer at a massive position of need. Elijhah Badger picked the Gators over the Arizona Wildcats and some others. This is huge. So Badger is a wide receiver transferring from Arizona State. And based on UF's track record at wide receiver transfers from there, you got to feel good about this one, Gators. Okay, so let's talk about Elijhah Badger a little bit. 4-star transfer, one of the most highly rated wide receivers in the transfer portal. He was also a highly regarded 4-star wide receiver coming out of high school as well. 6'2", 190 pounds. He's originally from Sacramento, California. So look at us breaking into the West Coast there a little bit. Badger has been Arizona State's leading wide receiver for the last 2 seasons with 135 catches and 1,579 yards, 10 touchdowns. He did not play in the last game of 2023 after sustaining a back injury. He was not active for the first few practices in the spring as well as he continued to work through that injury. But from what we've been told, UF has checked him out medically. They think he is good to go. They are excited to get him on campus. This fills a massive need in the wide receiver room. Now, listen, we all know we have Trey Wilson. We all know what an incredible talent he is. We also know we have a stable of young wide receivers that have come in highly regarded, but we haven't necessarily seen somebody really emerge as that wide receiver number 2. And Badger could be that guy. Florida needs some wide receivers to step up. This brings a ton of leadership and experience into that wide receiver room. Another sure set of hands that going to help out Graham Mertz, going to open things up for the running backs. This is a huge pickup. And listen, this is going to become a Billy Gonzalez stan account pretty soon because give the man his flowers. Billy Gonzalez develops talent and puts it in the NFL. And I know some of you guys will tweet me or comment on videos that you think he needs to be a better recruiter. Y'all, check it out. Okay, this is a huge, huge pickup. And there is zero doubt in my mind that Ricky Pearsall going in the first round of the draft was a huge electric sign to Elijhah Badger to come on and be a Gator. Look what UF can do. Look at the development that takes place in that locker room. This is also obviously a huge pickup for Billy Napier. He has done incredibly well in the transfer portal this offseason. I don't know that I would think there's been a ton of massive names in there. But think about the guys that Florida has picked up. They've picked up an offensive lineman. They've picked up a defensive lineman. They've picked up a linebacker. They've picked up a wide receiver. Since the transfer portal opened, right after the fall season has ended, Florida has been able to be picky about the pieces that they take because there isn't a ton of room in the scholarship count. But they have gotten some really big help, really highly recruited guys at positions of need. So overall, this entire coaching staff, recruiting staff needs a round of applause, but particularly Billy Gonzalez. His ability to develop wide receivers, regardless of where he is, played a massive role in landing Badger. Leading wide receiver for Arizona State 2 years in a row. So obviously he's on the NFL radar somewhere. But when you look at the kind of jumps that somebody like Ricky Pearsall made in UF system, becomes a first-round draft pick, that is a massive increase in stock value from last season to this past season. That is incredibly impressive. And I really do think that that is due in large part to Billy Gonzalez and his development. So hopefully he's going to do it again here, but huge part of landing Elijhah Badger. And, this team, I just mentioned we didn't have a ton of room with the scholarship count, but what a good job Napier has done at going in and really addressing needs in the transfer portal. We knew Florida's offensive line needed to improve. Happened. We knew Florida's defense needed to improve, picked up pieces there. Wide receiver was kind of the last piece of the puzzle that just needed to be addressed. And again, Florida has an incredibly talented and young wide receiver room, but outside of Trey Wilson, they really haven't found that number 2 guy. just yet. They have a lot of guys that you could look at as your third and fourth option for sure. But I don't know that anybody has emerged as that number 2 guy. This is a huge pickup from that front. I really think that this answers that biggest question on the roster this offseason, right? After spring happened, what is it that we all talked about? Wide receiver. How are we going to address it? How are we going to move forward? We were completely confident in the way the running back room looked, right? Everybody kept commenting on the wide receiver room needing a little bit of bulking up. So listen, Billy Napier went out and delivered. Cannot wait to see what happens when they put the pads on in August. Cannot wait to see what happens when Badger gets in the weight room with the rest of this team, see how he gels there. But man, it has been a good week to be a Florida Gator. All in all, I think that Florida is trending in the right direction. In fact, some national analysts are actually starting to change their tune on the Gators. For more on that, click right here.